What's up, good people out there? I know it's been a minute with the live streams. It's your boy, the host with the most. I'm Chris the Don One. Welcome to my live stream. We're gonna be talking about Wonder Woman 1984. It's getting slammed on social media, Twitter, Facebook, just social media in general, on the interwebs. A lot of people is giving it very low marks. And before I begin, be sure to check out my overall perspective of Wonder Woman 1984. I made that video like a couple of days ago. If you guys want to, after watching this live stream, if you want to hop over there and check out what I thought about the movie, I put it in details. I had no spoilers in it. I was just basically telling people the review. I mean, what I thought about the movie, what transpired in the movie, and my overall thought about the movie, overall perspective of the movie. But let's get back to this live stream. I feel like a lot of people, one is the way how they distribute this movie. I felt like way too many people at 0 hour when the movie was premiered, it was premiered in some theaters as well as HBO Max. And yes, that's a good thing for it to be in so many different households as well as movie theaters. But I felt like by it, being in so many reviewers' hands and so many consumer hands all at once, instead of gradually people, going to the movie theater. Now, if this was traditionally only in the movie theaters, and over time, maybe people, I feel like a lot of it was due to overexposure, and everybody was trying to hurry up and get their reviews in. And another thing I thought about was how everybody was trying to quickly make a blog, an article, a YouTube video, just skating through the movie and not really watching the movie, going into details with the movie. When I did my review, I watched it and then I watched it again for references, and then I made then I give you guys my opinion, my thoughts on the movie. And I felt like a lot of other people just initially watch it on HBO Max, they quickly dissect it, and they hurry up and they threw their opinions out there on social media. And I feel like that's one of the reasons why the movie is getting so many low marks. A lot of reviewers are not happy with the movie. And I feel like a lot of these reviewers, a lot of these blog posts, a lot of these influencers, to make their fan base happy, if their fan base is not happy with the movie, do you think that they're going to, even if they like the movie, you think that they're going to go against the grain if the majority of their fan base doesn't like it? Chances are they're not going to like it as well, because they got to meet demand. Okay? I feel like that played a part. And I feel like another thing that played a part with the Wonder Woman 1984 is it wasn't a traditional superhero movie. All right? Yeah, it had a hero, it had a villain, but normally, traditionally with superhero movies, the universe, as far as the movie itself, will be wrapped around those two characters, a hero and a villain. You play the story around that. With 1984, it was a superhero movie that was posing as a romantic love story. Okay? With, I call him Steve Rogers and Wonder Woman. It was more about their chemistry together. And the way how they produced this movie, it wasn't obvious during the whole movie. They didn't just threw it out there. They kind of entwined it with the superhero movie as well as the recent events in the movie. All right. Yes, you had the Wish storyline, the guy granting people wishes, and people don't realize when he grants you a wish, you're going to lose something in return. All right. Cheetah. I felt like a cheetah. I mean, the creation of Cheetah from the perspective of the movies perspective of Cheetah. Even though I'm a huge comic book fan, and initially Cheetah was not born that way. Okay, but it was something to get the casual comic book fan who's maybe not into the comic book world but like comic book movies to quickly get an introduction of Cheetah. And I can understand a lot of things in the movie just simply did not make sense. Like, for example, he wanted to grant everybody a wish at the same time. So he schemed an ideal. You know what? Since I'm here a little early, I'm gonna go down here and get me a sweet tea. Oh shoot, they probably ain't gonna have. Okay, so that perspective, he was granting people's wishes, and I'm gonna turn the heat on, and how that could play a part. And oh yeah, I lost my train of thought. Sorry about that. So he was granting wishes, and people didn't realize there's consequences and repercussions for granting wishes, because you're going to lose something at the end. And then he had a scheme that, he was getting very tiresome of, just granting people's wishes one at a time. He wanted a mechanism where he can grant everybody's wish at once, because he wanted to be with his son. And I think that played a good role in the movie as well, the dynamic between him and his son. And he couldn't spend a lot of time with his son because he was spending the majority of his time he just let greed seep into all his reality. And I thought that was a great dynamic with his son and all. But I'm going into what I talked about in the video a couple of days ago. But there's a lot of stuff in this movie. It was a superhero movie, but it had other elements, mostly the romantic chemistry between Diana and Trevor. They call him Trevor. He's really Steve Rogers, Trevor, whatever. So Diana and Trevor. So I felt like a lot of people did not like that. I feel, because if you read a lot of people's reviews of it, they felt like Trevor should have died. The Trevor storyline should have died with the first Wonder Woman. And to that I say this: if you recall the first Wonder Woman, they really didn't go into a deep dive in the perspective of their relationship. I mean, yes, there was little hints here and there. They did a couple of storylines between their dynamic, and you can see that Diana was really falling in love with Trevor in the first movie, but it didn't really get into the meat and potatoes of their relationship. Okay, they didn't go on their first date. They didn't, even though they kissed, but they didn't put it in retrospect, their first kiss, their romantic interest, what she liked about him, what he liked about her. They sort of, in the first Wonder Woman, kind of, just glazed through that dynamic. And I felt like, and like I said in my video about Wonder Woman 1984. I feel like if in the comic book world, Steve and Wonder Woman had a great chemistry and a great dynamic, and it was something that if you are a comic book nerd, it's founded in her comic books about their relationship. Okay, so and I compared their relationship to like Lois and Clark Kent, well, Superman and Lois, Batman and the Joker. Okay, that dynamic, Joker and Harvey Quinn. If you look at the DC universe, and if you take one thing from the DC universe, is the relationships between villain and hero, hero and bystander, bystander and villain. A lot of those characters from the DC universe, they're iconic characters, but a lot of people don't realize they got their start from being interesting or having a dynamic with someone else in that universe. Okay, and that's what makes DC characters a lot more than this guy is just staring and looking at me, and I'm losing my train of thought. So, and that's what makes the DC universe. I'm not going to say it's better than the Marvel universe, but to me, it makes it more human. Okay, because in real life, we all have partnerships and relationships with our significant other. We have relationship with our co-workers. We have relationships with everyone that we walk through in life. Okay, and that's what makes life wonderful, the creation of relationships. All right, and that's why the DC universe is more compelling to our way of life versus the Marvel universe, where the Marvel universe, that whole universe is built and founded on the characters. It's like the characters come first and everything else comes second. With DC, it just seems like everything is not trying to, it blends in. Okay, and it makes that character more dynamic, more appealing, and more iconic. Okay, so what do you think? I'm gonna do a video on Marvel Universe and the DC Universe, where I think about it in retrospect. I need to write that down one day. So write that down when I get done with this. But nevertheless, when we're talking about Wonder Woman 1984, it has a lot of those elements. It has a lot of those elements in the movie, and I felt like those elements turned and rubbed people the wrong way that were reviewing it. But I felt like if this movie was distributed traditionally, which was in movie theaters first, and then maybe a year or two later, it goes to streaming, it goes to Blu-ray, Blu-ray and DVD. Even though I don't think anybody have DVD players, I don't know. So if it would have went through that process, I don't think people would criticize it that much. Okay, they would have gripes about how they developed, and I feel like a lot of people are really, I feel like you can criticize a director and the movie, or the director and the project separately. Okay, and I feel like the lady that directed Wonder Woman, the original Wonder Woman, and Wonder Woman 1984, I feel like a lot of people are is really at her for some strange reason, and they're basically blaming her for the movie, even though she didn't write this. She sort of co-write it with someone else, and to me, this is my opinion, and I don't know if this is factual, okay? But I feel like when you write a novel, when you write a book, when you write a article, or a television show, or well, not television show, but a movie, when you're writing a one and done, I feel like it should come from one person's perspective. Okay. So I don't feel like you should have a bunch of, I mean, you should have a bunch of writers, but you should have a lead writer that's making this process go in the direction that individual wants this project to go. And sometimes it's like too many chefs in the kitchen, so to speak. And I don't get that from 1984. I felt like it was a decent movie. I mean, it was a good movie. The writing was good, the storyline was good, but like people like folks like Angry Joe and I forgot the other people that uh, you know didn't like the movie, or they liked it but there was a lot of flaws in the movie and they go X, Y, and Z. No movie is perfect. Let me throw that out there. No movie is perfect, all right? But I felt like the Wonder Woman sequel, and two, you hear this in Hollywood all the time. The sequel is never going to be the original one, all right? But after watching Wonder Woman 1984, I like the sequel better than the original. Not to say the original was bad, okay? But I thoroughly enjoyed the sequel. All right. So that's all I got for this live stream. If you watch it on the re-air, I feel like doing live streams are a lot more is a lot more quicker instead of cutting and editing video. I feel like just putting the camera on, let it upload, even though it's going to take sometimes because of the situation. I'm getting ready to head to work, but if I was at home and did this would probably be uploaded, and a lot of people would see this in the middle of the day. But since I'm going to work, a lot of people are not going to see the re-air of this until maybe tomorrow, okay? Due to my internet speeds, okay? And even though I got 5G, it takes a long time for these videos to process, okay? So, yeah, that's all I got for today, and what I thought about it. Guys, just comment in the comment section. What do you think about Wonder Woman 1984? I thoroughly loved the movie. And I just don't understand. Well, I understand because I feel like another reason why people are crushing this movie, because of their expectations of this movie. When you go in expecting something to be great or expecting something to be X, Y, and Z, and it doesn't reflect the way you felt, I feel like a lot of people when they review, when they I feel like your heart can sometimes fool you when you're reviewing something, because you're letting your emotions take over a process that overall your eyes and your mind can dictate to you and separate from you what's right and wrong. And I feel like a lot of people, when they go into these movies, they have they're all amped up and hyped up. That's emotion. And they expect X, Y, and Z. That's emotions. Okay. And when you go in like that, you're emotionally charged up, and then you get let down, which that's emotion as well. You're going to not like 9 times out of 10, you're not going to like something because it didn't meet your expectations. Sometimes you got to fall back and just look at it for what it is. And to me, if they could have done anything better, I felt like they should have played on to the Trevor and Diana relationship. I felt like they should have included that more in this movie, even though they did, from retrospect, they did talk about it. It did it the it was a storyline. It wasn't the main storyline. I'd have been perfectly okay if it was the main storyline. Even though, and here's another thing, they didn't really explain. Even though Diana hold the stone, and she said she basically said that I wish Trevor was back. Trevor was back, but Trevor was back by invasions of the body snatcher. He took the form of somebody else. I didn't understand why they went that way with it, but to me, I went, okay, it really doesn't make sense, but okay, and that I can see a lot of things in this movie not making sense, and a lot of people critiquing it. I can understand it from that opinion, but when you're just adding those fragments, and then your overall conclusion was it wasn't a good movie because of a lot of stuff didn't make sense. Uh, and the birth of Cheetah, that's not how Cheetah was born. She hold the stone, and I'm trying to not say a lot about the movie, a lot of details about the movie, because let's just face facts. I feel like a lot of people out there still haven't seen Wonder Woman 1984, and they're on their fence. They're like, should I see it? Should I not see it? Because on the interwebs, everyone's saying that it's not a good movie. And I just want to respect that factor. But going back to Cheetah, that's not how Cheetah was born. I mean, that wasn't the birth of Cheetah. And when they did, and then when they did do the storyline of Cheetah, it wasn't enough. Okay, it just wasn't enough. There was a few scenes in the movie where she demonstrated her transformation from being the shy girl that no one wanted or no one liked, which by the way, they didn't really do a good job, because she looks absolutely beautiful as the nerd. Okay, it's just she just wore baggy, loose clothes, and that's a theory with everybody. Everyone thinks, like if some woman walked in with glasses and shrugged and had baggy clothes, everyone's first thought is going to be, oh, look at that loser, until she takes the baggy clothes off and wear clothes that fit her, and she stands straight up and she takes the glasses off, and then you go, oh man, I had a totally thought process, and I totally misread this lady wrong. And even in the movie, they tried to do it. She had a little slump. She was shy and this, that, and the third. She put her hair in a ponytail, but still, even in that state, she still looked beautiful. And that's one of those fragments that people say, well, that didn't make sense. Even though a lot of people are not talking about it, to me, she still looked beautiful. Okay? She still looked desirable. Okay? And when she took all that stuff off and she stood up, all right, now all of a sudden, the men in the movie saw her like, wow, you look beautiful, you look stunning. And then now she gets attention, now she gets demand, now she gets praise. Okay, and she was more confident. Okay, I felt like Diana and Cheetah were dominant females, and I feel like that could rub. And you got to understand, the majority of reviewers are males, and a lot of males, not every male, not the majority of males, but I feel like a lot of males in general do not like dominant females. They like females that are seductive. They like females that are passive. But when it comes to a dominant woman, all right, that's not appealing to a lot of guys. All right, let's just go ahead and call a spade a spade. Okay, let's just keep it all the way a buck. All right. Um, I could do some examples, but I'm not gonna make this video any longer. And I felt like a lot of the male reviewers were trashing the movie because of that, but then they used the other fragments that I just mentioned a few minutes ago, that stuff that really didn't make sense. And they said, well, the reason why this movie wasn't good, because there was a lot of stuff in the movie that didn't make sense about the wish stone, about the wish process. Uh, why, they were in and out of this dynamic, but they didn't talk about that dynamic. Okay. So, but the underlying tone, if you really listen to them, is they critique and their criticism of Diana and Cheetah. And both of those actresses played a great role with those two characters, and those two characters were good in that movie. But I feel like a lot of males did not like the movie because of they felt like it was a slight touch and a slight hint of women power. Okay, and a lot of guys just don't like dominant women. If these women were, even though they were sexy, but if they played on their attributes as far as being attractive, then I felt like this movie would have gotten better reviews. Okay. And if it was like Charlie's Angels, do you remember the reboot of Charlie's Angels? It wasn't the CGI, it wasn't the storyline, it wasn't the director, it wasn't the characters. Charlie's Angels, it was it was smelling all through the movie of being sexual, and being attractive. All right. And even though that movie didn't rate well, okay, still a lot of those reviewers like that format, and a lot of those reviewers are male. Okay, you look at Wonder Woman, and if you compare those two movies, I feel like Wonder Woman is a better script than that Charlie's Angels reboot of Charlie Angels reboot. And I'm talking about the one in the 90s. I'm not talking about the one that was like 2 or 3 years ago, that Charlie's Angels that came out 2 or 3 years ago. But I don't even think anybody watched that movie. I didn't even watch that movie myself. But nevertheless, Wonder Woman 1984 was a better script than that movie, had a better director than that movie, had better writing than that movie, had better CGI than that movie, and it had better actresses than the Charlie Angels reboot of 1990. I'm trying to remember I know Lucy Liu was in it as well, but I forgot the other two ladies, and I apologize. But when you look at those two movies, and they both made a boatload of money, I felt like reviewers were more favorable to that movie, even though that movie didn't get good reviews either. But the reviewers, that the majority of them were male, didn't talk about the dynamics of the characters. Okay. So yeah, I felt like this was a good movie. I think it's being reviewed too harsh, and I feel like a lot of people out there are missing the boat. And that's why I always say you shouldn't really go by what a reviewer tells you, because a reviewer is going to look at it through the eyes of emotion. Okay, not even my review. Okay, but I feel like what makes me different than the other guys out there is I give a movie, I sit there and I watch the movie, and if there's something that raises my bad antenna up, I will try to watch it again. Okay, to figure it out, where they was going with this scene, where they was going with this character. Okay, and I don't do reviews from emotion, from an emotional standpoint, like a lot of these other reviewers are. And two, I'm not on no timeline. A lot of these reviewers are on timelines. They're on tight timelines, and they want to hurry up and get their content out there before everyone else before everyone else comes with their review. Okay, So yeah, man, I didn't want to make this 30-minute live stream, but I made it a 30-minute live stream. Just give it a couple of seconds and I'm going to end it. But yeah, that's all I got. I liked Wonder Woman 1984, and I hope everyone's emotions don't turn you away from this movie. This is a good movie, and if you haven't gotten it, if you haven't subscribed to HBO Max, I suggest you do. Okay, and if you want to hold on to your subscription with HBO Max, the Justice League reboot is going to be on HBO Max. Okay, and I'm pretty sure they're going to have a deal where Aquaman is going to be on HBO Max. Shazam is on there. Shazam was a good movie, even though I watched it at the movie theaters. That's a good movie. And there's like a lot of other things on HBO Max that's not comic book related. That's that is good as well. Okay. So yeah, that's all I got. So I'll talk to you guys later. I'm gonna be making a live stream announcement sometime this week. And it's your boy, the host with the most. I'm Chris the Don. I'm up out of here. Deuce!